2023, the hottest year ever on Earth.
Oh my God.
It is chaos along the Jersey Shore.
More than 100 homes, now nothing more than smoldering rubble.
The images from June 7th are hard to forget. That's when smoke from the Canadian wildfires seeped into our area, creating the poorest air quality in the world.
Urgent action needs to be taken now to prevent a catastrophe.
Hurricanes, tropical storms, droughts, heavy snowfall, and temperature increases are all caused by climate change. Climate change has grown substantially since the late 1800s at the start of the Industrial Revolution. This is all due to the rise of fossil fuel usage due to modernization. During these years, the usage of fossil fuel has caused the increase of carbon in the air. Because of this phenomenon, it caused global temperature to spring up by 10%. The temperature rise is causing glaciers to melt, resulting in countries progressively sinking. Many animals in colder ecosystems such as Greenland and Antarctica are gradually becoming extinct. Global warming has a negative impact on our oceans, weather, and food. Because of droughts, which is a side effect of climate change, many plants and animals in numerous ecosystems are struggling to survive, which could lead, in our case, to scarcity. A rise in health issues such as lung cancer, asthma, and heart disease due to the vast increase of smog due to climate change. As years went on, we as people observed the effects of this detrimental crisis destroy our homes, ecosystems, and our health. Though some states have created laws to deflect this crisis, such as the Environmental Conservation Law, which is just recently published in 2020. Though this may be a helpful solution, only California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Maine, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Vermont, and the territories of America have influenced the idea of banning plastic bags. Corporations still produce an ample amount of plastic items that require an insane amount of greenhouse gas to make these products. An IPCC assessment reported human emissions of heat-trapping gases have already warmed the climate by nearly 2 degrees Fahrenheit since 1950 to the 1900s. This is an ongoing issue that still seems to not be a priority to most.
Is climate change affecting your life as of right now? Well, you see, it rained in my country where it usually doesn't. The weather over there is like spring weather. The weather is pretty stable, so you notice the small changes. Normally, the temperature is around 20 to 21 degrees Celsius, I think. But in other areas, it can be higher. In our case, though, not so much. It's not as extreme compared to other places. And do you think that the government should help out more? Yes, of course. I believe that everyone should work as a team because this is a problem that the whole world is facing. We need to be more conscientious and make good changes to our world. So yes, in the end, I do believe that the government should be helping us out more.
What is your take on climate change, and how do you think we as a society contribute to it?
Climate change is real. There's a lot of people out there who think it's a hoax. You know, the liberals are trying to stop people from living their best lives, you know, telling people what they shouldn't use, blah, 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 blah. But climate change is real. It's affecting us. It hasn't snowed, like really snowed in New York. And I think they said 700 days because it hasn't been cold enough for it to snow. And that's absolutely climate change. Growing up, it snowed every winter. Right. And in the last couple of years, I can definitely see it's not snowing like it used to. And again, that is because it's not cold enough. We're getting a lot of rain, and that's, instead of getting snow, we're getting rain, because again, it's warm, and so instead of it, freezing, it's becoming rain. I'm sinking where I live. I had to raise my house. My neighbors had to raise their houses. It floods very easily where I live. Superstorm Sandy. Just a lot of different things.
On October 29th, 2012, Hurricane Sandy hit New York and it caused several damages to the city. More than 443,000 New Yorkers lived in an area that Storm Sandy flooded. Around 88,700 buildings were in that zone, buildings containing more than 300,000 homes and approximately 23,400 businesses. Citizens had to evacuate their homes and stay in a hotel or seek shelter with family members. DOE schools canceled classes and encouraged families to remain inside. However, the commute to work was still ongoing, but due to the hurricane, it only made things harder. Train stations were flooded, which led to multiple train lines to go down. Why did this happen? Hurricane Sandy originated on October 22, 2012, over warm tropical waters near the coast of Nicaragua. It began as a tropical wave that developed into a tropical depression and rapidly progressed into a full-fledged tropical cyclone. 2 days later, it became a Category 1 hurricane with winds stronger than 74 miles per hour. The warming temperatures in the Arctic may have shaped a blocking pattern in the jet stream, which caused the hurricane to turn towards the United States. And the rising sea levels undeniably contributed to the storm's destructiveness.
Okay. During Superstorm Sandy, were you in an area that had to be evacuated? And did they alert you ahead of time of this evacuation?
We were there for Irene, which was the one year before. I can't remember if they were it wasn't like a mandatory evacuation, so we had just gotten a hotel. Like our cousins who lived there too, they didn't evacuate. And we were like, what are you doing? You're crazy. You're about to lose your house. And so, we opted to, but it wasn't like, nobody really understood what was going to happen. Because the year before, we were told to, and nothing happened. So people kind of had that in their mind that like, oh, are they overblowing it? Or is it really going to be damage? And it ended up being damage. The ocean and the bay met at my house, so I lost it.
Oh my God. Are you okay?
Yeah. I lost all my shoes though.
Oh.
Hi, my name is Raven Osborne, and I am the guidance counselor at Professional Performing Arts High School.
Okay, so where were you at the time of Hurricane Sandy?
Superstorm Sandy, I was living in Brooklyn in Bushwick. I did not have any real impact at the time of Superstorm Sandy because I was inland. But a lot of my co-workers that I worked with lived in like Long Beach. Miss Testament lives in Long Beach. And a lot of people who lived around by the water. And so even though I wasn't impacted by Superstorm Sandy, quite a few people I know lost their homes, had a lot of flooding, had just a lot of issues due to Superstorm Sandy.
Another concerning example of the current environmental crisis is the recent Canadian wildfires, which left NYC skies filled with orange filtered pollution. Starting in Canada, the fires have burned more than 13 million acres of forest lands, causing thousands of people to relocate. This traumatic experience then made its way to the United States spring 2023, where the wildfire smoke lingered all over the tri-state area for a second time that year. The smoke-filled air made vision blurry, breathing difficult, and an induced strong sense of chaotic fear for all of the victims of the wildfire smoke. But why is all of this happening? Wildfires are most likely to occur in warm temperatures, soil moisture, and dried organic matter found in forests, which studies have shown to greatly increase in the past few years. In our case, the wildfire season has intensified due to climate change, which has given us warmer springs, dry vegetation, and longer dry seasons. This has allowed the fires to burn easier than ever before. Deadly fires have also begun popping up all over the country, from states like California to the Midwest, such as Oregon, Washington, and Montana. These frequently occurring wildfires have tremendous impact on our world. Its negative effects include public health by destroying livelihoods and increasing respiratory illnesses, as well as the environment through an unhealthy amount of greenhouse gases that is being released into the atmosphere. With dangers being at an all-time high, it is imperative that states work to implement resistance strategies in case of future wildfires. A good example of this is Austin, Texas Community Wildfire Protection, which manages vegetation, land conservation, and educating citizens of disaster safety.
Hey guys, so today we're here with
Helen, and I'm a student.
Hey Helen, so we're going to ask you a few questions. What were the feelings you felt at the time of the wildfires which left NYC skies orange?
I really felt fearful just because we were having firsthand experiences to some of the potential consequences of what global warming would bring. So it was really scary. It was
it was unheard of.
Yeah, what's happening right now.
Literally. Thank you. So, as you know, in that time, access to air purifiers and filters were not that accessible for everyone. How did that impact you or people that you know?
Well, I actually had really bad symptoms from the wildfires. My stomach hurt, my head hurt, I was feeling really lightheaded. And I know, I have friends who live in, fancy high-rise buildings, and they were getting, filtered clear air when, my family wasn't. And, people I know who weren't. And it was kind of shocking because it was, you were seeing, directly how richer lives were being prioritized, which is something that we've seen throughout history. So yeah, it was jarring, honestly.
And then even think about people that have respiratory illnesses or issues in that time. So
yeah, my sister does. So it was really scary. And the sad thing is that it will probably come again. I was reading an article off National Geographic, and they were this is the future, basically. This is what it is.
Yeah, that is scary.
Yeah.
So, with this being the situation, did this experience concern you about the increasing amount of pollution happening in the world?
Yeah, totally. In the city especially, we see so many instances of global warming, from storms poofing out of nowhere, you've been watching precipitation charts, all this stuff. And it makes me really nervous because it's just this is not a change for the better. It's just, it's
where would we be in the next 10 years?
Exactly. The flooding is, because I live on the waterfront, well, not the waterfront, I live sort of close to the water. I live on Avenue B, so it's it's a little bit close, and I know my neighbors down 2 avenues are already flooding like crazy, and that's in public housing too, so it's it's messed up, because there's not extra housing for them there are for richer people. So it's really bad because there's a lot of public housing on the waterfront, because the water used to be a place that you didn't want to be around because it was so dirty.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm kind of yapping. But
no, this is amazing.
Yeah, but that's where a lot of, at least in Lower Manhattan, that's where pretty much all the public housing is, and so those communities are directly being affected by that already and don't have resource elsewhere. Yeah. Of course, thank you.
Climate change is a huge issue we face today, and due to our ruinous habits, we have caused mass destruction all around the world. Which brings me to my question: what can we do as a society to end climate change? And better yet, what should the people empowered do to end this crisis?